We literally have a bucket load of stuff to unpack after what was to go down as probably one of the biggest and potentially best Google I/O events ever. There's new phones, earbuds, watches, and even a tablet to discuss, so let's get to it. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then tap the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. So there was tons and tons of information and data thrown at us during I/O 2022, but you care about that hardware devices. So let's start with the first fully detailed piece of hardware from Google, the Pixel 6a. And Google is making an interesting move and powering the Pixel 6a with the same Tensor chip that lets the Pixel 6 series do what it does. That's a big selling point here, and for a 6.1-inch smartphone, it's not all perfect as it packs a 60Hz AMOLED. Sadly, there is no high refresh rate yet, but this does come with an in-display fingerprint scanner for the first time on an A series Pixel device. Other than the Pixel 6a housing a Tensor chip, another important note is that it comes with a 12.2 main sensor and 12 megapixel ultra-wide at the rear of the device. This is going to be sad news for those out there who wanted an outstanding 50 megapixel sensor that is found on the 6 and the 6 Pro. The sensor used on the 6a is the same as other Google phones, the Sony IMX363 on the Pixel 3, right through to the Pixel 5a, so you should get comparable results with the camera when this is available. And because it's slightly smaller than the GN1 sensor on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, it won't actually be able to capture the same amount of natural bokeh and light as a result. On the other hand, the 12 megapixel ultra-wide lens is the same as is found on the Pixel 6 devices today. This is also the case for the front-facing 8 megapixel selfie camera as it's found on the current Pixel 6, so that should be pretty comparable too. To accompany that Tensor chip as well, Google is using 6GB of RAM on this device. This may not seem like a lot, but for a budget device with a high-end chip, 6GB is going to be plenty for most people out there. To help with quick processing though, the phone will get 128GB of UFS 3.1 standard storage, and just like other Pixel models out there, a micro SD card slot is nowhere to be seen. You do though get an IP67 water and dust resistance rating, which isn't quite as high as IP68, but it is great for such a cheap smartphone. We're also really hoping for all-day lifespan, especially as the Pixel 6a is coming with a fairly decent 4306 mAh internal cell. There's no word was shared on the exact charge speeds, but they do seem to be capped at 18 watts after a little bit of research on Google's own storefront. We will need though to clarify with Google when it launches if 30-watt wide charging will be available with an accessory, which you cannot pick up separately. Google's entry-level smartphone model for 2022 will also get 5 years of updates, which equates to through 3 full OS builds and a further 2 years of security patches on top of that. We're expecting it to launch with Android 12L pre-installed, but there was no word on that. So based on that information alone, that means you should get Android 13 when that arrives later this year, Android 14 and Android 15 by 2024, then 2 more years of support, which should actually roll over given this release date into mid-2027. Now the price, at least as far as we're concerned, is the biggest and most enticing aspect of the Pixel 6a because it's at an incredible $449 in the US, £399 here in the UK, and €459 in selected European markets in 3 colours. It comes in a gorgeous sage, chalk, and a pretty standard charcoal model. However, pre-orders open on July 21st in the US and Japan, with open sales beginning on July 28th. Other regions, including the UK, Germany, and India, will have the opportunity to pick up the Pixel 6a in the coming months. What's next in Google's reveal lineup? Well, how about the Pixel Buds Pro, as this was another unexpected reveal. These new earbuds are a powerful new addition to the Assistant-powered headphone family, and they are actually Google's first earbuds to come with ANC, or active noise cancellation, giving the user, or potentially giving the user, great sound without distractions and outside noise creeping in. To complement this, the new Pixel Buds Pro will have pass-through as well. All of this is paired with a custom audio chip from Google and beam-forming microphones to ensure clear audio and some, hopefully, great noise cancellation. The chip itself has 6 cores with a Google-made algorithm, all built by Google's in-house audio team that the company has been building out over the past few years. The earbuds themselves, they rely on what are reasonably small 11mm drivers and have active pressure relief to avoid that feeling of being plugged or kind of really blocking your ears. There's also an IPX4 water and dust resistance rating for each earbud, so this should be perfectly safe for sweaty workouts and maybe even a little workout in the light rain conditions. The case itself, this retains that lovely pebble shape that's been used on the Pixel Buds from 2020 and last year's Pixel Buds A series, and that also includes an IPX2 rating, so it should be safe when you're holding it in your sweaty palm or in your pocket, for instance. Google claims that the new Pixel Buds Pro will have 11 hours of battery life and 7 hours when ANC is turned on, which is not bad. It's not exactly class leading though. Combined with the case as well, that should equate to around 31 hours altogether, or 20 hours when you do have ANC turned on. As standard, you'll be able to charge these via USB-C or wirelessly, which is in keeping with the 2020 Pixel Buds. In addition to the Google Assistant, which is present on all of the Pixel Buds so far, the Pro model will take advantage of multi-point pairing, which means you can just switch these two devices without a hitch, which is similar to how the Fast Pair works across the Pixel Buds and Pixel Buds A series as is. Coming later this year as well, Google will push an OTA update to the Pixel Buds Pro that will allow the earbuds to take advantage of spatial audio for what will hopefully be a more immersive experience. And these new buds will be available for pre-order on July 21st, the same day as the Pixel 6a, for $199, which kind of fits in with the rest of the market for ANC or premium ANC earbuds. And they'll come in 4 different colorways: lemongrass, charcoal, fog, and coral. So this is going to be a perfectly timed launch for an accessory alongside the Pixel 6a. Probably the most anticipated product launch ahead of I/O, and that was the Pixel Watch. It is finally coming, but not for a little while yet. It's actually coming later this year alongside the Pixel 7 series. More on those in a bit actually, but we know a little bit more about this first party wearable thanks to I/O 2022. In terms of design, the Pixel Watch consists of 3 distinct pieces, starting with what is a bulbous cover glass that curves all the way around to the metal sides. Google is going for an edge-to-edge look with this design, and this domed shape of the display is just a flat surface with the black bezels surrounding it. There's a bottle-shaped crown which is said to be clickable and tactile. We're hoping that means with a little bit of vibration-based feedback when you do access it, and that is placed at the 3 o'clock position as you view the watch face, and it does jut straight out. While above that actual crown you will get a button above it that you can press and access. Below that though is the first of 2 small holes, with the other to the left edge next to a long speaker cutout. Google is said to be using recycled stainless steel here, and that all lines up with most of those previous hands-on leaks that we saw just a few weeks ago. Elsewhere on the perimeter of this watch are 2 watch band slots with buttons at the right that allow for fast swapping, with a little bit of a twist here. A proprietary strap system is being used, which we did already know ahead of time, while Google is actually using Fitbit's Infinity Band design that consists of 2 loops and a pill-shaped peg for stability when fitted to your wrist. Both the metal perimeter and bottom dome, which is the 3rd piece on this chassis, are quite thick. Sensors are arranged horizontally at the centre for some symmetry, and Google only mentioned continuous heart rate and sleep tracking with regard to those sensors at the bottom there. Other confirmed Pixel Watch specifications include 50 meters of water resistance, GPS, and an optional 4G LTE model will be available. Of course, the Pixel Watch is going to run Wear OS 3, but with a few interesting alterations and UI tweaks to account for this being a first-party device. There's a new Google Home app, which we believe is set to launch alongside the wearable and will give you home controls on your wrist. Plus, the expected deeper integration with Fitbit is also coming that will offer detailed fitness breakdowns exactly as you'd see them on Fitbit watches. And we are hoping to learn a little bit more, especially as the new Google Assistant will be available on the Pixel Watch 2. Absolutely no pricing details were mentioned during the keynote, but we do know that this is a premium product, so we're expecting a price tag to match those high-end aspirations. However, it will launch alongside the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, so we will learn more hopefully later on in the year. And that leads us really nicely to the upcoming flagship Duo. Google threw one of a few curveballs during the I/O keynote by getting ahead of any potential leaks and just soft revealing the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro to everyone. If you were expecting wholesale changes over the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, well, we'd say look away. This is a refinement of the existing design, but there's still a few little changes that we think are worth pointing out here. The biggest change to the design is the camera bar, which ditches its current glass look for a full aluminium design with cutouts for the camera sensors. Google also confirmed revamped colour lineups, as the Pixel 7 will ship in a matte obsidian, snow and lemongrass colours. Meanwhile, the 7 Pro will switch lemongrass out for a green hazel colourway. Both the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro will ship with Android 13 out of the box, and as you'd expect, the second generation of Google's own Tensor processor, but no details were shared on that chipset. Google also didn't offer any information when exactly we can expect these phones to release beyond fall 2022. Presumably, that will point to Google's usual October release date for the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. Pricing is unclear at this point, but we think it should remain close to that $599 and $899 Pixel 6 series pricing, which would make this duo another enticing prospect for Android fans out there. So last and certainly not least, Google saved one last teaser for us. Yes, Google is set to return to the tablet space with an upcoming Pixel tablet. The bad news though, it actually won't be available until 2023. This marks the first time that Google has launched a tablet since 2018's Pixel Slate, which ran on Chrome OS. That device was at one point set to have a successor, but Google then shared it was discontinuing its plans for tablets. Before that though, the last Google branded tablet to run Android was a Pixel C, which was launched way back in 2015, and according to Google's Rick Osterloh, the company plans for this distant Pixel tablet to be the perfect companion to your Pixel phone and meant to bridge the gap between your home life and any of your on-the-go activities. And just as you would expect from a premier device in the Pixel series, this 2023 tablet will run on a Google Tensor chip. No word on which iteration though. Taking a closer look at the device's hardware, as seen in the brief teasers provided, at one point the close-up shows the rear of the device, and here you can see what appears to be 4 pins below the Google G logo. This actually hints at this year's early reports of a Nest tablet, where the next Nest Hub product could be or would be a tablet that would be docked into a smart speaker base station. These pins could potentially serve as a tablet's main charging mechanism while on such a dock, though the side-mounted USB-C port is also visible, so at this point we're none the wiser. In official renders given to the press though, we see that there will be at least 2 colorways available for the Pixel tablet, including a traditional off-white shade and a greenish grey colour, matching the similar option of this fall's Pixel 7 series. The upcoming tablet is undoubtedly the culmination of work Google has been doing within Android for large screen devices, starting with Android 12L and now continuing with Android 13. There also seems to be a significant focus within Google's I/O's developer talks, shining a spotlight on creating apps for tablets and foldables, which is actually a good U-turn, as people out there still want quality Android tablets, and it's often not always the hardware that lets things down, it's where the apps are a little lacking that really do Android tablets a disservice. As you'd expect though, there's no pricing information or any explicit release date mentioned beyond 2023, but we're sure that we'll learn more about the Pixel tablet and the Pixel 7 series together later this year at the later Made by Google launch for 2022. So considering that Google I/O is usually a developer-focused event, that is a lot of hardware to mull over and for you to digest. We're certainly going to be in for a busy few months, picking apart each and every little nugget of info, and we're really looking forward to bringing you some thoughts on each of these upcoming releases, especially as they are set to be slightly staggered. Personally, I've got to say I'm most excited for the Pixel tablet, but those Pixel Buds Pro, they also look pretty nice too. I want to ask you though, what do you think? Do you think Google has knocked it out of the park, and what do you like the look of the most? Let us know down in the comment sections below. This is Damien with 9to5Google saying thanks for watching though, and I will speak to you later.